Imagine this. It's 2030. Oil is no longer the world's lifeblood. Planes still fly, lights still shine, but the map of power has changed. Who won, who lost, and who paid the price? Here's the truth. There is no single law that bans fossil fuels. What we have is a historic signal. The world must transition away, and fast. The real story? The bargaining behind that signal. Who writes the rules? Who builds the hardware? And who gets left behind? At COP28 in Dubai, nearly 200 countries agreed. To keep the planet safe, we must move away from fossil fuels, fairly and in order. For the first time, a global climate deal actually named fossil fuels. Headlines called it the beginning of the end. The goals are bold: triple renewable capacity, double energy efficiency, cut methane leaks. On paper, it looks clear. In reality, the pain will be political. Rich nations push harder because they can. Europe, the US, Japan, already armed with finance and clean tech. But look south. In sub-Saharan Africa, 500 million people still live without electricity. For them, a fast fossil exit means blackouts, lost jobs, social unrest. Here's the math. Emerging economies need almost $3 trillion a year for clean energy by the 2030s. Rich nations promised $100 billion. They just met it, for the first time. The trust gap is enormous. This is not just climate policy. This is industrial strategy. Whoever controls solar panels, turbines, batteries, and minerals controls the future. Today, China refines most cobalt, graphite, rare earths. Indonesia dominates nickel. Chile, Argentina, Bolivia, the lithium triangle. Congo, the cobalt king. If oil pipelines once shaped geopolitics, tomorrow's choke points are mines, refineries, and factories. That's why we now hear of export bans, resource nationalism, and supply chain wars. Even nuclear energy is back. Over 20 nations pledged to triple it by mid-century. The race is on for every piece of the post-fossil puzzle. For a century, power flowed through OPEC and oil choke points. Now, the new bottleneck is the grid. The world must build or replace 80 million kilometers of power lines by 2040. Grid investment must double, over $600 billion a year by 2030. Storage, smart networks, faster connections. The grid is no longer just infrastructure, it is geopolitics. Without finance and technology, poorer nations face an energy access crisis. Some pilot projects, like the Just Energy Transition Partnerships in South Africa, Indonesia, Vietnam, promise billions. Done right, they blend loans, grants, and reforms. Done poorly, they become old debt with a green label. The difference is simple: a just transition or just a press release, ending subsidies, phasing out coal, cutting methane, cheap fixes on paper, political landmines in reality. Subsidies buy social peace. Coal employs voters. Methane cuts hit powerful oil companies. At COP28, producers pledged near-zero methane by 2030. The climate math loves it. Politics may kill it. The same with cars. Europe wants zero-emission vehicles by 2035. Industry pushes back. Governments delay. But the direction is set. Policy is steering money to batteries, grids, and clean fuels. To stay on track, fossil fuel demand must fall by a quarter by 2030. That means record investment in renewables, grids, storage, efficiency, and yes, nuclear. By 2030, success would look like this: 11 terawatts of renewable power. Efficiency gains doubled. Methane emissions halved. Grid bottlenecks gone. Trillions flowing to the global south. None of this is automatic, but all of it is possible. Inside the plan to ban fossil fuels is not one neat law. It is a bargaining table. Rich and poor arguing over who pays. Old powers resisting physics. New supply chains redrawing the map. The world is not just fighting climate change. It is renegotiating who holds power in the next economy. So if you want to know if this is real, watch the grids. Watch the metals. Watch the finance. Watch whether money shows up in Lagos, not just in London. That's when the end of fossil fuels stops being a slogan and starts being history.